Good morning, students. Welcome to Geo class. Today we will discuss the question and answers, or you can say the exercise mentioned at the end of this chapter, that is the distribution of oceans and continents. I hope this chapter is clear to you. If you still have any doubt, don't worry, we will take that with the help of this question and answers. This question and answers will almost summarize the chapter which we have learned in our last week time. So uh, there will be a combination of multiple choice question. Then we have uh, short question answers, 30 marks, and then we have a long question answers of around 150 words. Now let's continue with MCQs. So the first question says that who among the following was the first to consider the possibility of Europe, Africa, and America having been located by side? So you can see that Europe, Africa, and America, we are talking about the big continent, and options given here are A. Alfred Wegener, B. Antonio Pellegrini, then Abraham Ortelius, and Edmond Hess. So we all know that the correct answer is Abraham Ortelius. After Abraham Ortelius, the Alfred Wegener gave the theory in 1912 in, that is, the continental drift theory. So the correct answer is C. Abraham Ortelius. Let's come to MCQ 2, which says the polar fleeing force relates to revolution of Earth, gravitation, C. rotation of Earth, D. tides. So this is related to the continental drift theory. This is on which the Alfred Wegener gave that the Pangaea is divided into 7 continents with the help of 2 forces. One is polar fleeing force and the other is tidal force. So polar fleeing force is also known as the rotation of the Earth. So the force, or you can say the second force, is the rotation of the Earth, due to which the current situation of continents formed. So C again is the answer, that is the rotation of the Earth. Third, which one of the following is not a minor plate? Is not a minor plate. We know that there are options: Nazca, Arabia, Philippines, and Antarctica. So Nazca, Arabia, and Philippines are the minor plates, and Antarctica is one of the 7 major plates, like Pacific plates, African plates, Eurasian plates. So Antarctica is also one of the major plates. So the correct answer will be D, Antarctica. Question number 4, guys, this is important. Listen it carefully. Which of the following facts was not considered by those while discussing the concept of sea floor spreading? First of all, you should know what is sea floor spreading. Then only you can come to know about the concept. First, volcanic activities along the mid-oceanic ridges. Yes, that can be a possibility. Strip of stripes of normal and reverse magnetic field observed in rocks of oceanic floors. Yes, we have talked about the magnetic field during that time. Third, distribution of fossils in different continents. D, age of rocks from the ocean floors. So you will find that the option C is the correct answer, because we are studying here about which have not considered. So if not considered, the correct answer is distribution of fossil of in different continents. Distribution of fossil in different continents is one of the evidence given by Alfred Wegener to prove his theory, that is continental drift theory. So this cannot be the answer for seafloor spreading. So the correct answer is distribution of fossils in different continents. Okay. Last MCQ is about which one of the following is the type of plate boundaries of an Indian plate with among the along the Himalayan mountains. So there are 4 options: ocean-continent convergence, divergent boundaries, transform boundaries, and continent-continent convergence. So first of all, we should know that Indian plate and the Himalayan mountains and Indian plate uh, collided with Eurasian plate. And I have already told you that it is a divergent, it is, it is a convergent boundary. It is not a divergent boundary. So option B and C is neglected, eliminated, means divergent boundary, and transform is will be not be the correct answer. Now we have with option A and option D, that is ocean continent convergence and continent continent convergence. Indian plate collided with Eurasian plate. Eurasian plate is a continental plate. So the correct answer is D, that is continent continent convergence. So fifth, the answer will be continent continent convergence, that is the plate boundary in which the Indian plates along with the Himalayan mountains collided with Eurasian plates. I hope first five MCQs are clear to you. I have also given the brief uh, about that situations. Now we have question number two, which are in the form of short question answers. What are the forces suggested by Wagner for the movement of continents? As already discussed, there are two forces, polar plane forces and the tidal force. Polar plane force also known as the rotational rotation of the earth. So according to Alfred Wagner, two forces by which the Pangaea is divided into seven continents are tidal force and the rotation of the earth. So you have to write about this in question number 1. Second, how are the conventional currents in the mantle initiated and maintained? So this is important. How are the conventional currents in mantle initiated and maintained? So you will find the answer in 1930 when the Arthur Holmes gave the theory of conventional current. So what is the theory? We have to see that. So conventional current theory. So you have to read this, then only you will come to know about the conventional current theory. So in 1930, so Arthur Holmes discussed the possibility of conventional currents operating in the mantle portion. So this mantle portion, we know that the earth is divided into three layers: crust, mantle and core. So mantle portion, there these currents are generated due to the radioactive elements causing the thermal differences in the mantle portions, which ultimately resulting in the currents, and these currents help in the drifting of the continents. So this will be the answer for chapter uh, point number 2 here. This will be the answer, and the next is question number 3, which we have to see is what is the major difference between the transform boundaries and the convergence or divergent plate boundaries. We have already discussed that you have to be very clear with this situations. We know that transform when the two plates move in opposite directions horizontally, that is called as the transform boundaries. Convergent and divergent boundaries are different that you can easily discuss. We have already have that in our lecture. Fourth, what was the location of the Indian landmass during the formation of Deccan Trap? So Deccan Trap, we know that when the Deccan uh, Trap was formed, you see here that it was during the Indian Plates movement, which was around 60 million years ago. Plate moves towards the Asiatic plates. A major events that occurred was the outpouring of lava and formation of Deccan Trap. Okay. Overall, if we are talking about the India plate, so India plate is separated. You can say India was a large island situated on the Australian coast. So it's separated from the Australian coast or Australian plate, and it comes into this forms. Last three of questions, which are long type questions. What are the evidence in support of the continental drift theory? So evidence we have already discussed. Evidence are jigsaw fit, tillet, fossils, distributions of the continents, different matching of the coast shorelines. So all those 5 points which we have discussed, I will also be sharing my notes with you. So it will be easy for you. Placer deposits, the rich minerals which was found there, that all comes under this evidence to support the continental drift theory. Next is question number 2. Bring about the basic difference between the drift theory and the plate tectonics. So drift theory, we know that drift theory proposed by, first you should know drift theory proposed by Alfred Wegener in 1912. Plate tectonics came into existence around 1967-1961 by Mackenzie, Parker and Morgan. Drift theory says that the continents moves and resulted in this formation. But the plate tectonics says that it is not the continents which move, it is the plates, the massive rocks, which can be in the form of continental plates, oceanic plates, or combination of oceanic and continental plates. So that you have to write in this with 3-4 differences each, you will find it good. So drift theory, you can say that no longer have validity. Now the plate tectonics is the theory which is valid, and we also follow the plate tectonics theory. Last question is, what were the major post-drift discoveries that regenerated the interest of scientists in the study of the distribution of the oceans and the continents? So there are 4-5, you can say, points interest which the major post-drift discoveries, like one of them was that the ocean rocks are younger than the continental rocks. That means oceans are still into formation as compared to the continents. Then we also see that the oceanic rocks have a very fine material at its base, which shows that it is just came into the existence as compared to the continental rocks. Then there are more points mentioned here. You have to just understand that and write in your answer. Okay, so points are, I will just tell you that in where it is written, then it will be very easy for you. See, these are the points like first, second, and so this 5 points are the latest discoveries which resulted into this all things. So you will find that volcanic eruptions are common and they bring huge amount of lava to the surface of this area. So this all 5 points is the answers which ultimately are the reasons for the post-drift theories and the, so see here, the post-drift studies provided considerable information that was not available at the time of Wegener. So what are those? These are the 5 points. So this was it from this chapter, that is chapter number 4, distribution of oceans and continents. Next day we will continue, next week we will continue with a new chapter. Okay, thank you so much.